Okay. Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land. I believe we are live. Yes, we are. Oh, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Kabah Harrison, and as soon as I get on, I'll get a call. My name is Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. I am a confidence and success coach, and I work specifically with African American women that have coaching and or consulting businesses. And basically, in a nutshell, what I help them do is to create effective strategies in which to address all of their negative self-talk as well as those self-sabotaging behaviors that seem to creep up and basically prevent us from taking our businesses to the next level. So that's what I do more specifically. But I'm coming to you this evening to talk about this awesome online summit that we have coming up. It is actually called A Queen's Roundtable Quarterly Discussion, and it happens quarterly. And this particular one that's coming to you next month is titled All About the Business. So this is specifically for coaches and consultants to give you guys different tools and techniques to up-level your business and be seen and be heard in 2020. Okay, so I'm going to give you the dates. It is May 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. 4 days that these awesome speakers are going to pour into you. Tonight, I have 4 speakers that are on live with me right now that are going to be speaking during this awesome summit. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to whomever kind of wants to jump out there and go ahead and introduce yourself. Well, let's do that first. Let's everybody introduce themselves, and then let's go back and tell the audience just a little bit about your presentation and why they don't want to miss it. So who's up first?
I'm Skywalker Payne,
Okay.
and I am the founder of Vibrant Velvet Voice Productions. And my presentation is called Heal Your Story, Heal Your Home. And I am explaining exactly what that means. I'm giving you 4 definitions of what heal does and explaining about story and how and what your home is.
Okay. So your business, give me the name of it again.
Vibrant Velvet Voice.
Vibrant
Vibrant
Velvet Voice. Okay. Now, do you practice online and in person, like face to face?
Actually more online, because I live in a very small town in Alaska.
Oh,
and there isn't that much interest. But my focus in my business was founded online. When I started my business, I was actually doing voiceover. And as I realized voiceover, to be a successful voiceover artist, you need to be an actress. And I'm not an actress. I'm a storyteller, but not an actress.
Okay.
And then I realized that your voice is not just this that speaking, it's your whole being. And then I started to evolve. And I'll talk a little bit more later on how I came to the healing part.
Okay. All right. Nice. Wow. Alaska. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not one you hear every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not many of us in Alaska. And actually, Anchorage is one of the most diverse cities in the country. They have the most diverse school district in the United States. But I live in a small town called Homer, and it's the most white town I've ever lived in my life. It's very undiverse, but it's beautiful. Okay. It's beautiful, and I'm here with my husband. So
okay. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you are a part of this roundtable. So who wants to go next?
Okay, I will go. So hi everyone, I'm Imelda Salmon, and I am an emotional healing coach. And my subject is kick out the imposter syndrome, because I have suffered from imposter syndrome for years, and now I am imposter syndrome free. And I have put together a process to help women, to help my client overcome it too, because it's something that everyone suffered from the kids to old people, men and women. So for me, it's really important. So I help people heal by reprogramming the language of the brain. So I help you uninstall the old language that you have coming from your childhood, coming from your limiting beliefs, and implement what you want, the life that you want, and implement the new truth, because there is so much behind our brain. It's the brain is the heart of everything that we do. So for me, it was very, very, very important to understand how my brain was working, because I was going from depression to depression and nothing was helping me. So I am honored to be a part of this summit to share with you how to get out of your life the imposter syndrome, because that's the first step. If you can remove the imposter syndrome, then you can start the healing process step by step and be able to hear yourself but not the inner critic voice. So yeah, that's why I'm here. And I live also in a small city in Wisconsin called Channel, and I'm online too, like Pain, because here nobody has the time to hire a coach. They are all farmers and they don't want a coach. They
Right,
want
unless
a
it's
pet.
a farming coach,
So
right?
yeah, I'm online.
Okay, wow. And that's what's so cool too about doing online summits and, roundtables and so forth, is that it brings people in from, all over, and we can come together in one place,
Yeah.
virtually, which is kind of cool. So,
Mm,
well, thank you so much for being a part of the roundtable.
my pleasure.
And you're right, that imposter syndrome, I think everybody has gone through that at one time or another. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thank you for bringing that topic, to us. So, ladies, who wants to go next?
I'll go. Hi, everybody. My name is Tanisha Langley. I'm actually the CEO and founder of Enrichment Strategist Services, LLC, which is an education consultant and empowerment coach business. Basically, my topic that I know is going to set some people free is being able to identify 4 steps to transition from one phase of your life to another. Sometimes we don't do it because of lots of obstacles. The people that's in the section that's telling you what's best for you. Well, you come to the presentation and I'm going to help you decide what's best for you. And I'm going to give you some tips to help you transition, because comfortability doesn't always mean profitability. So I was able to successfully do it myself. I used the system myself to transition from being a career educator to being an entrepreneur. So want to be able to offer some tips, some things that I use in my own life, use my own system to successfully overcome some challenges, hurdles, perceptions, and perspectives to go to the other side. So that is what my topic is basically called reinventing yourself and transitioning with hope.
Okay. Wow, that's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard bits and pieces of everybody's presentation, just bits and pieces, but I can't wait to go back and actually listen to them, because everybody is bringing something different to the table,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
and it covers all different aspects, which is nice. So
I'm loving.
I'm not going to talk too much in between, but go ahead, Miss Latorsha, you're up.
I am Latorsha Pilati, and I'm a spiritual alignment and mental wellness coach. And for me, it's bridging the gap between mental and spirituality. And with me being a Christian woman, I myself dealt with the issue of depression and suicidal thoughts and sadness. But as a Christian woman, I had to put on the face, or felt like I had to put on the face, to be the Christian that everyone says you have to be. But yet I was there physically, but I was not there mentally, and I was so out of alignment. And it's something when you present yourself and you're out of alignment. Somebody always hit that one part of you that's out of alignment, be it your self-esteem, be it your regret or rejection, whatever that thing that is out of line. When somebody hit it, it'll cause you now to just be paralyzed. And one thing that I do is to help women get from that stuck place. That stuck place where they're not falling back into the world, but they're not moving forward, because now as a Christian woman and being having mental issues, and not saying that they're crazy or anything, but just day-to-day issues, which is like sadness, depression, helping them get past that stuck place of feeling so ashamed to be a Christian woman and having things going on in my life, which is life. And so that's one of the things that I will be talking about in the presentation, is how to move from that stuck place and how to now find yourself, how to now call yourself into alignment, how to acknowledge that I'm sad. I know that I'm sad. I know that I'm depressed. So you, like a child, you get to that level and say, okay, sadness, I see you. But now it's time for you to move into place, because as long as I'm stuck, and anything that's out of alignment is not going to function properly. If you have a car that's out of alignment, when you take your hands off the steering wheel, it's going to veer to the left or veer to the right. But it's the same thing with us. If we are not aligned right, when we're trying to get to that goal, get to that one place that we want to be, if we're not aligned, we're going to veer off, and we're never going to make it to our destination. So what I do is help get you back on track so that you can meet the destination that you have set for yourself.
Oh, wow.
I love it, because I'm a minister. So yeah, I love it.
I love it too. And and I'm still trying to keep a check on time, but just when you touched a little bit about the mental health piece, and I think a lot of times within our communities, we don't really want to talk about mental illness,
Right.
And it's kind of, I think what you described, okay, I'm gonna have to say this real quick. I know you all may not necessarily know me, but I have a tendency to, I have to kind of wheel myself back in. So it really resonated with me when you made the comment that a lot of women are just kind of, they're not really floating backwards, so to speak, but they're not moving forward either. You know what I mean? And I think that happens a lot of times because of unaddressed mental health concerns. Like I think African American women suffer a lot from depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Yes.
That we don't even really, sometimes we don't even realize that we're depressed.
Right.
Or maybe we do, like you said, there's some sort of embarrassment or shame, and we don't really want to, admit it to anybody, much less go and get some help for it.
Right.
Okay, so that was okay. Let me cut myself off. So with the remainder time, I would like for you ladies to talk a little bit about why you feel your subject is, and I know each of you, I believe, have touched on it somewhat, but why you feel that your topic is important for other coaches and consultants to help them, grow personally and professionally, spiritually, and why you felt it was important to be a part of this A Queens Roundtable.
Okay.
So, maybe to make it easier, can we just go in the same order that we went in before?
Sure.
Okay. Why I think, why what I do is important?
Right. Right. Why is it important, and how do you feel that it's going to help our participants grow personally, professionally and spiritually?
Okay. First of all, I'm going to do it reverse.
Okay.
I was invited and felt really happy to be part of this symposium. I've done 2 summits myself, but I've been on a couple of others, and I was surprised when I got the invitation and happy. And how you have put it together, how it's just phenomenal.
Yes.
You may have made it so easy. Your communication has been consistent. The site you use is easy. And I'm really impressed and grateful and happy to be part of this. And I'd like the way you did it by having us do our own presentations instead of the interviews, which is what a lot of people do, because it allowed me to be more creative and feel freer. And I think that the audience will enjoy it too, because I think there's something when people get up and are really sharing what they do without even questions. I think we can get a lot of benefit from it. And I think that because so many of us have seen these summits of two talking heads, and we end up saying, oh, this is boring, I'm not interested. But if somebody's doing a presentation, it can be compelling. So storytelling, I am a professional oral storyteller. I actually got a degree in storytelling. And that was late in my life. Everything I've done has been late in my life. I am a totally late bloomer. But the reason I came to this Heal Your Story, Heal Your Home is because for the past 3-4 years, I've been working on establishing myself as an entrepreneur. How I came to Alaska is I was a registered nurse, and I had gotten interested and had been interested in entrepreneurship when I was still working as a nurse. That's when I was still working full time, and I attended my first online coaching thing while I was at work, because I was at my own office and didn't have any windows. And I was that got me interested. But as I went through the whole process, I kept telling people, I'm not a coach. I'm not a coach, because I was being directed in that way. And a lot of people didn't understand storytelling. So I'm the type of person, I want to learn and do things. But I kept listening to other people until after a while I started to say, I need to listen to myself.
Yes.
And the one thing that was always important to me was spirituality. And I've actually practiced all the major religions, but I'm a Buddhist now. And when I became a Buddhist, my teacher said, you're not entering religion, you're entering a way of life. But I don't want to be a Buddhist teacher. But in the past few months, I've been studying energy healing. I started doing my storytelling, and I've always known that storytelling is a healing act. Whenever I told stories, whether it was to children or adults, the audience wants to tell their story. And when you start telling the stories, things start coming up that they hadn't thought about. And you see changes in people just in the act of oral storytelling, looking somebody straight in the eye without any expectations or judgment, and you start sharing. The whole process I was going through in terms of my entrepreneur journey was about healing my story, because I've received enough help, and I started to see who I am, to see the value of storytelling. And I discovered that I'm actually a healer, because I'm gone into energy healing, and they combine together perfectly. So that, because energy healing is spirituality. But I've actually spent a good deal of my life doing yoga, doing qigong. And then one of my sisters sent me a 1-page handwritten letter and a Reiki magazine. And I've been aware of Reiki, but I had never gotten into it because, people, it's kind of, what? You can heal somebody without touching them. But when I read the magazine, I said, well, this is what I've been saying all along. And since I started practicing Reiki and I'm learning some other healing techniques, I said, this is what I am. This is what I have to offer people. And what my approach is very individualized. I haven't started setting up class or anything, because it's what a person needs. And everybody has their own story. And I'm oriented towards helping people who recognize they have a story and recognize that their story isn't working for them. And like you all were saying, and we all are tied together in terms of our efforts, because really somebody who is depressed, who doesn't want to go to work in the morning, who is overindulging in things, substances, you need to change your story. But it's only when you realize you need to change your story and want to change your story that you can do it. And then it's a matter of sitting down, looking at your story, looking at what you want to do, but combining with the storytelling and the energy healing. It's a combination that can really work pretty more quickly than just doing one or the other. And so that's and I know that Black Reiki isn't a big thing among Black people, and because I've been sending out little
Like, what are you
polls
talking
and
about?
things.
What?
Yeah, and especially older Black women, because I belong to this Facebook group that is global 50 plus women. I put a post on there about Reiki, got no responses. In my group, I actually found some women who are Reiki practitioners. So one of the things I really want to do is be sharing and educating people more about Reiki and doing distant Reiki for people, because it's something that works. When I don't get to do my own self-treatment, I'm saying, oh, I need to do this, because it actually gives you energy. It gives you clarity.
Okay.
And looking at your story in a non-judgmental way. And I've seen this with people I've worked with, just asking the right questions, getting people to tell the story opens them up. Thank
Oh,
you.
well, thank you for sharing. Now, LaTorsha, I know you said you definitely have a time restriction. So did you want to go ahead and go next?
Sure. So for me, what is more of allowing people to, a lot of things that I've ran into in what I'm doing is, even though the women wanted to say what they was dealing with and wanted to say they was ashamed, so they would never ever say, they would talk around what they thought the problem was. Because growing up as a child, especially in either a single parent home or a Black home, you're told that you have to be strong. You can't show weakness. You have to, the world is not going to give you anything. So you're going to have to be present regardless of how you're feeling, how you want to deal with it. Even if you want to just lay down, just be present. So know how to put the face on, even though you're dying on the inside. And a lot of people have been so, they've lost our voice. So they're not able to say, I'm hurting. They're not able to say, I'm broken. And I know with me, when I was in church, one of the things that I was present, and I knew how to say amen when I was supposed to, and I knew how to say hallelujah when I was supposed to. But inside, I was crying out for someone to just feel what I was feeling and come talk to me about it. But what I noticed is they were so caught on my physical being there that they didn't even notice that they saw me and you're present and you carry yourself this way and you think you're better, or you think whatever. But the one thing that they did not do was pick up my silent cries. They didn't speak up. They didn't pick up my silent pain. And that's one of the things that I have really in what I do, is make sure that I'm able to hear the words that are not spoken, that I'm able to hear the words that you want someone to hear, but you don't have the strength or the boldness to say it. Because even with people who have been in, have a mask on for so many years, that's one of the things that I'm bringing to the summit, is because it's so many people that have been crying out, but they didn't know how to tune the frequency, so to speak, so that people can see. They have been so well put together. But if you really look at a person, and what I've noticed is a lot of people just wasn't seen. Like, a lot of people was there, but nobody really looked at them. Nobody really noticed that even though they were smiling, if you look at their eyes, they want to cry. Or even though they're laughing and they're joking, but when you don't, when you're not paying attention, they drop their shoulders and they're not. So no one picked up on the little silent cries. And that's something that we as Black women have to be able to get to a point where we say, I'm weak. I need some help. And that doesn't mean that I am not this strong Black woman. Because of my strength, I'm able to say this. But what I'm learning is a lot of women don't know how to speak up for themselves. They'll tell you in nonverbal ways that they need help. But if you're not in tune, if you're not hearing the silent cries, you will miss it altogether. And I think that's why a lot of us as women, even for entrepreneurs, because we have been told that we have to present ourselves and we have to be there. And this is your business. So as your business, you, no matter how you're feeling, no matter what you're dealing with, you have to be present, broken and present, painful and present, tearful and present. You just have to be present. And we've had so many years of pushing down everything that we've been feeling and everything that we've gone through to show people that I can do it. But what I think we need to know now is to open up and say, yes, I'm still here and I'm still present. I'm still strong, but I'm struggling with a couple of areas. And so I need you to come up beside me and help lift me up and help, acknowledge me, just acknowledge. And that's a lot of things. Like I felt that I had lost my voice and no one saw me. So I was there, and I'm 6'2", by the way. And so you can't miss me, but yet no one saw me. No one heard me. And then, as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to still really be in it. Like if you're going to open your own business and you're going to do your own thing, you have to be in a place of peace where you can enjoy the things that you're doing and enjoy who you are while you're doing it.
Yes.
Wow. You know what? And it's like I'm trying to keep myself contained over here because, certain things kind of hit different, triggers for me. And the mental health within our communities is one of them. And it's like I just kind of want to, it's like now I want to go off on this whole discussion about, and I know we don't have time, but the whole piece about, like you said, I think we're so focused on, just how things look on the outside, oh, they have a good job and, they dress nice, their kids are cared for, they have a nice home, you know what I mean? But those are just exterior things, and like you said, a lot of times people are just slowly dying on the inside. And it's one thing, like when you're initially engaging with someone or they know someone is looking, people kind of put on one of those, but like let them kind of just, don't think anybody's looking at them or nobody's paying attention. Like you said, you can really see the difference or the shift, So I'm trying to contain myself because I know we could probably have a whole hour discussion just on that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I'm so glad. And I'm sorry, get one more time on what's the title of your topic again?
It's spiritual alignment and mental wholeness.
Okay. I remember when I saw the title, I was like, yay, so I really appreciate you being agreeing, to be a part of the roundtable and what you're bringing to the table. So really appreciate it.
Okay. And I love it because I work with the exact same people. I work with leaders and creators who are entrepreneurs who seems to have it all, but inside they are falling apart. And they have been through so much in their life that they are working with a mask pretending that everything is good. They are praying, they are fasting, they're going to therapy, but nothing is working. And now they think that God has something against them because nothing is working, literally nothing, and they cannot connect anymore with families. They, like you said, they know how to say amen, they know the hallelujah, they know how to be very spiritual, but inside it's a mess. Because I was like that. I was that person few years ago, and I went through such a brutal and violent childhood, and that my whole life became, I have to keep all my shit together. And I knew how to be successful. I knew how to put the face on. But when it came to be with my peers, and I was falling apart inside. And with that, I was like, oh no, I'm a fraud. The more I will study, the more I was like, no, the minute you ask me something and I don't have the answer, I will go and have the diploma that we, and start the certification that will give me that one answer. And I was pissed every time, and I was sad, and I was always after my husband, always after people. So, and I was almost mean. So it was so heavy on me. And those type of women, most of the time, they are great decision takers.
Mhm.
They are great leaders. You can put your life in their hand, but don't make the mistake. You don't want to work for them,
Ooh.
and you don't want to live with them because at home they are lioness but really mean, and it's not beautiful around them. So I have been that kind of person, and when I started, and nobody knew around me that at 12 I was sexually abused and harassed by the same person for 3 years. So this kind of thing breaks you for a long time, and it was violent with my parents, emotionally, verbally. So nowhere I was secure. And this kind of trauma, now I work with those ladies who have severe trauma to help them heal for good. And that's why I went through NLP, and because it was setting myself free. And what I have realized in church, because I'm a minister, in church or at work or in the society, there are so many people suffering with the imposter syndrome. If you think that you know how to do everything best and you don't want your husband to help you, and you think that your kids are lazy, but they are just taking a break because they need to breathe, then you have the imposter syndrome. If you think that you are not good enough, that people are going to see that you are a fraud, completely a fraud, that you are not worth it, then you have the imposter syndrome. If you think that you a superwoman, you are an overachiever, someone needs you, you're there. Someone wants this, you're there. You have the imposter syndrome. And there are so many masks, so many pictures about the imposter syndrome that when you talk about the imposter syndrome, everyone is like, oh no, it's not me. But the more you open the discussion and the more you show how it works, then people are like, oh my God, that's so true. And that's why your business is not going anywhere. And that because you think that you're not good enough, you think that you have to work more, you think that this program is not perfect, you think that you have so much more to learn, or it has to be perfect. No, you just need to know where you are coming from. You just need to know your story. So it's amazing that we have storytelling. You need to know exactly your value. And most entrepreneurs don't know their value, and they are going from business coach to business coach, putting all sort of kind of money when the only thing is that you put one action after the other and have the right system in place. And I'm sorry to say that business coaches, they live on that. They live on that imposter syndrome, that desperation that we have to succeed. When in fact, when you understand that you have the imposter syndrome and you know how to handle it, then you will know that you don't need a lot of business coach. No, you just need someone to show you, okay, what is the first step? What are the first system that I have to have in place? What is the second one? And the moment that you know the first two systems, then you know how it works. And you know that, and when you know your story, you know everything, you know exactly that you have everything in your hands. If God allow you to be where you are and to start the mission that you have started, it's not the hazard, it's not by luck, it's because you are called to be there. So I want them to remove the imposter syndrome mask and stop pretending that they need more, or stop believing that they are not good enough. I will give you everything, and I will give for all those who will take the second part to have all the recordings, and I have a bonus to give, and it's my book, my detailed guides, Claim Your Crown and Be Bossy, that help start the healing process and know exactly where you are in the healing process. And really, it's so important because when you are broken, you tend to have the imposter syndrome. And 95% of my clients all have the imposter syndrome and they don't even know that. And when you know exactly how it works, and that's why I was like, it's so important. So important because today with entrepreneurs and even in the corporate world, imposter syndrome is so present that now that I have the process to deal with it, I want to give it to everyone. So I hope they will really take advantage of that.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for being here. And I totally agree. I totally agree. It's very, very common. So, Miss Tanisha?
Yes. So this is great because I think, first of all, let me go back to your question of why I said yes. Ms. Kabah Harrison, I said yes because it ties totally into the slogan of my business, which is enriching environments and lives through knowledge. That's what we do on virtual platforms. And I have to go back to Ms. Skywalker. The way that you have put things together, I have loved it. It has been amazing. But let me tie into something that LaPortia and Imelda, what they said in their topics about why they're here, and it leads totally into why I'm here and my topic. So I got to go back to LaPortia, and LaPortia, I basically I want people to know when they come to the virtual summit, I have 4 traumatic uh, episodes, life changing events that happened in my life 3 years consecutively, and I was at the height of my teaching game, and I'm a leader. I'm a leader. That's what I do. I lead. I lead. I can lead or I can be led. So in my industry, I was a teacher leader, and going through those years of traumatic, life changing events. And I wasn't stepping into an imposter syndrome or anything of the nature, but I was kind of right at the brink of it. And I was more so under what LaPortia was talking about, because LaTorsha was talking about, because I knew how to lead and I knew how to put on my professional clothes and go inside of a classroom and teach a great lesson. And I was a mentor teacher, so I knew what to do and what to say when teachers were coming to me and needed help in what they were doing. And all the while, I get off from work and I cried all the way home because I was done. I was broken. I was bruised. And so I prayed about it. And that is why I put my system in place with reinventing yourself with hope and transitioning, because sometimes as women, as the women that we are in our culture, we have broad shoulders because we're used to every and anybody standing on those shoulders. And we're used to putting on the face and putting on the smile and putting on our professional attire and getting stuff done while we're dying on the inside. So that was part of the reason why it was so beautiful when I was listening to 2 of you guys talking, because I dealt with a lot of that. And that is why I made my decision to do an exodus from my career at the height of my game, because I understood it wasn't but so long that I could go on like that. With what I had dealt with in my life for 3 years, but understanding that we're so smooth as women. We know how to do what we do and do it so well. And, we know how to say, oh, yes, that is great. Oh, thank you so much. No, I am fine. I am so fine. Say, God is good, as you cry all the way home, as you sit in your chair and you sling snot for 30 minutes and then wipe your face when someone comes in. So I had gotten to that point. And that is why I transitioned and reinvented myself into a new market, because I understood that, as my mother once told me, eventually something's going to give, and the giving was not going to be me. So, so you are so right. I'm hoping that the people that are attending this virtual conference will take heed, because the information is there. The information is free 99, in a sense. And it's just a matter of, and because, when we were figuring things out, we didn't have anybody to say, oh, girl, you putting on your lipstick, you fly and broken. Oh, girl, oh, you're going to be okay. We didn't have anyone to say, no, it's not. It's okay to not be okay. So that is one of the things that I'm going to talk about in my presentation, which is reinventing yourselves and hopefully able to get the message out to, because I'm a coach and a consultant, hoping to get the message out to them that these are the things that you do when you are not seeing the, I call the gut alignment with what you visually see with your eyes. So thank you so much, guys, ladies, for sharing, because it just tied into everything. That was the reason why I left at the height of my career, like being utilized heavily in the building, was utilized in the district, but I understood enough that I could no longer carry the almost imposter syndrome, as I sit into the meetings and I shine because I say the right words and I use the right terminology, and they see my data and my scores, and I'm utilized, but I'm used up. And I knew that I could no longer go another 2-3 years like that, because I told my people, because no one could understand my decision at the time. And I'm hoping that when people come to this summit, you have to understand no one has to understand your decision.
That's your vision.
No one has to understand your decision, because you get a gut check. And a lot of times, us strong women, we ignore our gut. It tells us, it moves us, it motivates us, it gives us signs, wonders, and everything all in between. And we ignore it because the other side of what we're trying to do doesn't look like the norm. So that is what I'm hoping that these women come to the summit and understand and get healing from all of these different presentations. And Ms. Kabah Harrison have put together some fierce speakers, and I'm hoping that they take notes. They sit down and take notes and understand that I hope that they understand that they're not weird, they're not strange. Because sometimes when we're undergoing these things, which are very normal in other cultures, they embrace that and say, "Oh, okay, no, here's what you need to do." We, on the other hand, sometimes be like, "Child, you crazy. You leaving that teaching job and you get benefits and you got state benefits and you got this and you going to leave to do what? Where are you going? What are you doing?" And at the time, I didn't have a clear vision on where I didn't initially step out to be an entrepreneur. I was like, my season is up. When they asked me, they was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, my season is up. Where are you going? I don't know. I'm leaving from here and I'm going to get my healing. And I did. I went and got my healing that I needed from my 3 years of 4 traumatic life events that happened to me consecutively and consistently back to back. But, if they catch the presentation, they'll catch all of that. I go into a little bit more details. So,
okay.
Yes.
Well, ladies, this is so much fun. And I know a couple of you have to should have been gone a couple minutes ago. Yes. So LaTorsha, thank you so much, because I know you got to run. So if you want to disconnect, that's fine. But I'm just going to do a quick wrap up. So thank you, everyone, for everybody that joined us. So let me just say this. I do apologize. I'm looking for comments on the screen, but I guess the comments are only coming from one page. So the other page that we're streaming on, I had to look down at my phone. So I just want you to know I didn't purposely ignore your comments, but I will definitely go back and answer them. Somebody was asking about the software. This is StreamYard. So, and I've just started using this not too long ago. But thank you for the ladies that joined us live, for took the time out of your Friday evening to come and share this virtual space with us. Again, we're closing out. We were speaking about the upcoming A Queens Roundtable quarterly symposium titled All About the Business. Is going to be May the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th, which is a Saturday through Tuesday. So grab your virtual ticket. I believe I put the link in there. Go ahead and, grab your ticket. And just, you can sit and join us virtually from the comfort of your own home. Get your pen, get your pad, right? Your cup of coffee, tea, whatever wine, whatever you want. And just, just take, because you can get something from each one of these presenters, each speaker. Everybody is very powerful, and going to give you a lot of different tools and techniques to be able to help you to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually. Okay, so you don't want to miss it. Mark your calendars. And thank you, ladies, so much for agreeing to do this panel this evening.
Thank you.
And, like I said, go back in too, ladies, because some of the comments may be specific to you. So go back in and check, because like I said, I streamed it from my personal page and my business page. Okay, so Everyone, thanks again. Have a good evening. Enjoy your weekend. Everybody stay
Thank
safe,
you.
okay?
Thank you. Have a good one, guys. Have a great
All right.
weekend.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.